This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Colby Valve.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 449, Hypothetical Bug-Out Vehicles.
Tonight, Aaron buys some tires, Coy travels to the Carpathian Mountains, and Ben tests his battery.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben, and welcome to the show. So, Coy, I've got to hear about your travels, my friend.
I haven't been in the Carpathians as much as I'd like. I pretty much explored all of Colorado, and then I skipped and went straight to the Carpathians. And it's much more difficult than I expected, but I've been going nuts on Mud Runner expeditions. I bought
There we go.
I bought in early and got to play the game early, and I'm enjoying it. And this is from the guy that hated, and I repeat, hated SnowRunner. I much rather go around and explore and do stuff than be like, hey, deliver 3 loads of logs over here. I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Why would I want to do that?
Exactly.
So I'm enjoying it. It's I almost did. There are parts where I get angry and I almost throw my controller. Have you experienced any bugs yet, Aaron?
I haven't experienced any bugs, but the vehicle I like to drive, the bed is separated from the cab. There's like a 4-foot gap between the bed and the cab. And like I try to go up and around some of these trees, and like my truck will slide sideways into the tree, and now it's stuck. I can't go forward or backwards because that tree is stuck between the bed and the cab. There's a gap there, and it slips into that gap. And I checked, and there's no bed modules or anything that I can buy and change that setup. That's just the way it's made. So that's only happened to me 3 times.
Wait till you get to the Carpathians that's full of trees, and then you're like, I can take a shortcut through the trees because you can run over. You can run over like 30% of the trees there.
Yeah.
You just kind of judge by size, and then other ones you could hit at Mach 9 and they don't move. So as you're driving through the woods, I spent probably a half hour trying to winch myself out of this grove on a hillside because it just kept, that was what I almost threw my controller. I was losing it. I'm like, look, this is too much. But
I played two the very first 2 levels in the Carpathians, and I think it was on the second one where I was driving and I'm going up a hill, and I needed to get to this checkpoint on the other side of this creek, and it was a really narrow creek, and the water was running really fast, so it was like white water in this creek. The creek had to have been maybe 6 feet across. I'm like, piece of cake, I'm in my big truck. I turn, and it just like knows the whole cab is underwater. I was able to back out of it really quickly before it seized my motor up. But
I had mud bug. I was like driving through this little ravine thing with that, I don't know, that little Yugo looking thing, and I have it all lifted with like long travel suspension and boggers on it and stuff. And in this little ravine, there's this rock that I'm kind of struggling getting over. All of a sudden the rock glitches like inside the vehicle. So it's like the floorboard has been pierced by this rock. And it like in 1 second just starts flashes out 800 red numbers of all the damage. Like it almost just completely destroyed it in 1 second. Just numbers. But it barely ran, and I finally winched it off of it.
That's hilarious.
Travis Hudson says, get stuck in the water and you're float. I did that. I got stuck in the water and then was just floating. And I had one of the jack, whatever they call them, so that you can flip yourself back up. So I was hoping it would float to where it got close enough to the bank I could put it back on shore. Nah, it didn't.
So you can't use that jack unless your rig is on its side. I had 2 of those jacks, and I rolled on the side hill. So I like reset my truck, and when I set it down, so I guess I have had a glitch. When I set it back down, the rear tire was halfway in the rock, and like it wouldn't go forward, it wouldn't go reverse. I couldn't winch it anywhere, nothing. So I'm like, well, I'll just have to use my other jack. And you can't use it. I couldn't reset my truck a second time.
You should be able to winch your truck onto its side and then use it, but
I'll be right back.
Aaron's house is on fire. Don't worry. He might be back.
then it snowed like crazy here. I didn't really get out as much as I wanted because Saturday morning, this crazy drunk guy came to my house, turned around, and I have a long gravel driveway, parked in my driveway for a long time, and then I walked down there and was like, "Hey, can I help you?" And he was like, he looked like he had been welding for several hours with no goggles. I've never seen eyes this bloodshot, like other than like movies where people have Ebola. And this dude, I was like, "Hey, can I help you?" He's like, "No, no habla inglés." And I'm like, "Okay, are you like lost? No habla inglés." You know, there was a girl in the passenger seat. This is probably 9:30 in the morning with a Corona in between her legs, like back seats just piled full of stuff. I got this one house on the street got bought a year or two ago, and I seriously wonder if it's a cartel house. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's traffic all night long and weird stuff. And finally, I was like, "Yeah, not this house, but the next one." We used our phones to translate. I ended up calling the cops because he was like, he clearly couldn't find the house he was staying at. He was so messed up. And then the cop finally called us back like 45 minutes later. He's like, "Yeah, next time call right away." And we're like, "Yeah, we did. You just took 45 minutes. Call me back." He's like, "Yeah, there's only 3 cops in this county right now for county cops." But
Ouch.
yeah, so that's kind of why I didn't leave very much, because I don't want my house burned down. And then this dude was sitting not on my, like 8 feet off my property again later in the day, and like I called the cops again, and then he moved. I don't know, something's going on weird down there, so that's cool. And I played video games, and really I went up to my in-laws' house finally at one point and stomped around. They live up in the mountains, so played around in the snow a little bit, but didn't really do any wheeling like I had hoped. Aaron, what about you? I hear you're busy in Arizona this weekend.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Colorado, then Arizona. I did pop over to the Carpathians, but spent a lot of time in Arizona and Colorado. Raggle Fraggle says, "What's the mission structure like? Is it all exploration, or is there some transporting too?" So you do a tiny bit of transporting in the sense that there's bridges to build, but they just use the spare parts from your vehicle to build the bridges. So that's a little tip to you guys to make sure if you're going somewhere where you know that there's a bridge, make sure your rig is loaded up with spare parts, because it uses like 75 or 150. I think it depends on the gap that you have to span.
I heard somewhere later in the game, when you build enough stuff, there's like a heavy drone that can bring you fuel.
So I unlocked a couple of these specialists, and one of those specialists has the ability that when he is on your team, the drone can haul product. So I haven't used him yet because he's expensive.
That would be game changing for me. I get so angry. I did this mission in the Carpathians, and the base is so far away to get to the point, and you got to like drive around this. You get all this stuff to get there, and then there's a little spawn point, and it's like taking you to Lost Island, dude. And then the mission starts on another map, and I've used 3/4 of my fuel to get there, and I'm like, "Wait, why would you even do this?"
And then there's also like towing out vehicles that have been crashed and things like that. So it's pretty fun. I really am enjoying it. I love the exploration
missions where you got to go find spots. There's like we're finding ruins, and each one you need to go different spots and send your drone up, look around, set your metal. It's fun, but it's not like a hauling game. It's definitely more exploration based.
Yep. I don't know if you guys have seen in the videos where you can hook a winch line to the back of your rig and lower yourself over a cliff. I tried that with one of my bigger vehicles, and I was winching it over the cliff. I don't know if the winch line broke or something, because the next thing that happened was it just tumbled down the hill. It was done. So
you spooled out too far, man. You got spooled into the red. Like
too many wraps.
Yeah.
Not enough wraps left.
Anyways,
and I realized that you need to upgrade your winch line length, because it stopped. It was one of the first things I did was try to lower myself down a cliff. I have like 25 feet of winch line, so I just barely hugged myself over the cliff and then had to unhook and do like 7
You just go
flips.
boop.
So it
Yeah.
tells you how much winch line you have now?
No.
No. You find out. It doesn't tell you. You go into like the customization and it'll have the upgraded winches and stuff that you can buy. And your standard one, it says like it's literally, I don't even think it's 40 feet of winch. It's super short.
Yeah, it's very short.
And
yeah,
it
it's like
won't run
2
when your vehicle's on
Carlins.
its side either, the standard one. So when you flop
Nope.
your truck over and you want to winch it back onto his tires, it's just like no.
Yeah.
No, have fun with that.
So besides playing some Mud Runner expeditions, I got that grounding kit installed I showed you last week, but I haven't taken the truck out. So Coy talked about snow. For probably the past 7 days, it has snowed every day at my house, but it accumulates to as much as 1.5 inches and then rains later on in the day. And it just literally snowed and rained for the last several days.
This has been some of the best weather for those of us that work outside, where it just snows all day but doesn't stick, so no one cancels work. You just work in the snow. I love it. It's so nice.
So
Yeah.
okay, so you guys are getting somewhat similar to us, but mine's been no accumulation, but it's like snowing hard, and so it's like cold, but like not cold enough to stick.
It'll be snowing to where you can hardly see sometimes, like just
Yeah,
huge
no.
flakes coming down, but
Blizzard.
Or you're getting the hail that kind of hurts, but it won't damage anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting that.
So I haven't taken my truck out to do any testing. It's just been gross, and I don't want something to happen while it's gross out there. So this week is supposed to be a good week, supposed to be sunny all week. So I'm gonna goof around with my truck this week. But besides that, I bought some new tires, you guys.
Yeah.
Not in Spin Tires Mud Runner. I bought some skinny 35s. I bought some 10.5-inch wide 35s, 17s. Guess the brand?
Kenda.
Oh, you know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got myself.
What size did you get again?
The 35, 10.5, 17s.
3510. Are these for the Ford or the?
No, they're not for the Ford. No, they're for the Frontier. So I'm getting rid of them nasty wide guys.
Don't like the wide.
Nick.
Bye bye.
Yeah, those are going bye bye. And I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to see if I can make some Bronco wheels fit. So, those beadlock ready Bronco wheels that come on the Badlands editions. So I got a line on a couple different sets of them for sale locally. And Coy has a friend that I've went wheeling with one time that owns a Bronco with those wheels. So in the next couple weeks, I'm going to pop over to his house, bolt one of them up on the Frontier, see what it does, see what it looks like, check out the offset. It's got a positive 55 offset, which means it's going to tuck it into the wheel well quite a bit. So I'm not sure.
You already got spacers on the rear. Like, you can put them on.
I do. I might not need spacers though, because I mean the Titan throws 3 extra inches pushing it out, so I might not need anything.
With narrows, you may actually be looking pretty good.
Yeah. Leroy Engineering says he looks at those wheels, but the beadlock rings were so expensive he couldn't justify them. When you can pick up a set of 5 wheels for $500, that's $100 a wheel.
It's $800 for the beadlock ring set, I think.
Yeah, that seems like a decent deal. So
that's about
we'll find out.
2 beadlocks, but for narrows, there's no advantage for you going after. It might as well be narrow, narrow factory rim, because you're going to run narrow tires,
skinny tires. Yeah. Nick says you didn't hold out for narrow 37s. We'll get there. The guy I bought them from just put on some 11.5 37s on his Tacoma, and we're also going to check that out to see if it fits. So I'd love to just jump right to 37s if I could.
37 11.5s.
Yes, 37 11.5s. I don't know. I don't need 37s. I definitely would probably need to re-gear once I put 37s underneath it. So we'll see.
Facebook user says fake beadlocks. They are in factory form, but then you just buy the beadlock. They're beadlock ready.
They're like my
beadlock
dual
ready.
techs. They're like my dual techs.
So yeah, you can run them as regulars, and then when you save up for the rings, throw some rings on it, and yeah, you're good to go. And who knows, maybe some aftermarket company will undercut the market on beadlock rings, and they'll be cheaper than $800, or I can find a used set of those or something. So we'll see. We'll see.
Nick Simon asks what brand makes the 37 11 and a half. It's in a 17-inch rim, and it's the Nitto, right?
I think Nitto does, but I thought there was one other, and I can't remember
Well,
what
the
they
one
were.
that our friend got is
Josh. Is
he got,
it the Nitto?
I'm almost positive it's the Trail Recons, which is either Nitto
That's
or
That's Nitto's, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I think it was the Trail
And
Recon.
I believe it's the Trail Recon. It's not a super aggressive tread. It's more aggressive looking in person than in the pictures you see online, to be honest. But it's a in between a mud terrain and all terrain, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I've unfortunately, guys, I've not bought the game yet. I thought we had like a week to go.
No, he's calling you weak.
Oh. No, I thought there was like a week to go, so like I didn't even think to order it, and I've just been so busy. My son had his play. I'm still recovering from pneumonia. I'm
What
like
a better time to just sit down and game for 17 hours straight.
Hours.
Like
Hours.
you have pneumonia. Like, you're just gonna sit there and play the game all day? I have pneumonia. What would you like me to do? The only thing that doesn't make me cough is moving my thumbs.
Yeah, I'm literally laying in the room watching TV or movies, or watching my son do his play, or testing my battery. So I finally went out, tested my battery, used my voltmeter, had my wife try and start the Forerunner, and the voltage just drops as soon as you turn the key. So I charged it. It's a dead battery. So frustrating because I think the battery is only a year or two old.
Oh, well then take it back to where you got it from.
That's what I'm gonna do.
And they'll credit you something. If you didn't say that, I was gonna say just go to Costco and buy a battery from Costco, because they seem to be the least expensive option out there.
Yeah, and I think mine's like what was it, AutoZone battery? It's AutoZone or O'Reilly's, one of the two. And I had gotten a deal on it when I got it, so it was like sweet. But oh well.
Yeah.
Frustrating, but I haven't had to replace it yet. I just haven't even had the energy to unscrew it and pull it out. And it's been doing that snow rain stuff here. Today was the first day that some snow actually stuck around, and it was just on the vehicles in the morning, and it was ice. So I had to go scrape the windows on the car before I could leave, which has been. And then tonight, or just before I came out here to record, we actually had some snow stick into the ground. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, we got some listener feedback. Somebody called our voicemail line or our hotline. Have we decided if we're calling it a voicemail or a hotmail? I don't know. Whatever the case is, somebody called it.
All right. And here's that voicemail.
What's up, Off-Road Podcast boys? The gentleman, the scholar, the ditch. Hey, just checking in, wanting to see how your guys' tunes are going. You still like them? You need to maybe spice it up a bit? Love the content, guys. Keep up the good work. I'm starting to run out here, so if you guys could maybe start doing it every day of the week, that'd be awesome. Icing out.
So I like my tune, but I haven't got to drive it that much. Pete really likes his tune. He came down for dinner last night. My wife's birthday is this week, but she works during her work portion of the week. So him and his wife came down and had dinner, and his wife does not like the tune because of how he drives with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pete really likes the tune. Vanessa does not like the tune as much. She hasn't actually got to drive with it at all, so we'll see how she likes it when she drives it. I actually think I could go a little spicier. So
I probably should go spicier. I drive my FJ quite a bit. I've completely acclimated. 100%. Like I know nothing else. I found myself actually, I was going, there's this weird hill, leaving my in-laws. You come up and you just come to a stop and you turn and go up a kind of a steep hill. And I'm going up it and I'm just punching it, it's downshift. I'm like, oh, no power. And then I was like, oh, this was way worse. Like I remember thinking, I know this was worse like 2 months ago or whatever before I got the tune, but my brain has completely recalibrated to the current tune, and
That's hilarious.
I can hardly appreciate what I've gained. I need to go drive someone's FJ Cruiser that's 35s that doesn't have a tune or gears, and then just get out and be like, ew, gross, and then go get back in mind, be like, oh, this is amazing again because
just need a reminder.
Yeah, I'm like a poor person that came into lottery money. I'm just like, it won't take long.
Well, save that poor person coming in lottery money for our main topic mentality here.
yeah,
Hold that back a little bit because we're going to jump on that and you're going to see just what it looks like when a poor person gets money or when 3 poor people get money. Oh, man. Dylan in the comments says he's battling trying to find huge tires for 15s. You're not wrong. Like 15s are not, they're just not a big wheel for anybody anymore. 16s are tough.
So I'm gonna throw out there, I believe Toyo mud terrains, which is kind of a heavy tire. I know they make some 15s still, and then obviously, dude, Interco. They make Swampert, Auger, Traxxas. Obviously, they make a ton of 15s still. A lot of their stuff is not radial, but it's worth looking at if you're having problems.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. Got it in the mail today.
I didn't check my mail today. It's probably in my mailbox. But here's what it looks like for you. Those of you who cannot see that, and it's and those of you who are listening, it's a leprechaun on a skateboard with 2 what are those
MP5s.
MP5s, there we go. And the skateboard says all luck, no skill. Oh, he's got nods on too, and a gold.
He does quad nods. Yeah, all luck, no skills. Raggle Fraggle says he had Toyo road tires on his taco and he can't recommend them enough. So Toyo makes a great tire. I've heard some people complain about them getting out of round or being hard to balance, but I've also heard a lot of people like the Toyo MT.
I had Toyos on my Wrangler, my JK when I had it. And they went hard after a year, like really hard. The tire rubber just got hard, and they were not the best in our road conditions. So they were great in the dirt, but I mean it's mud tires, so what you expect? But I don't know.
Dylan, I say you just get some ag tires. It's like it's a samurai. Go buy some ag tires and call it. Like it's easy to trailer around.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
All right, our first news article here I am proud to be the one talking about this as the Nissan host of this show. This is brought to us by a local news channel, KGW8, out of Portland, Oregon. Toyota recalling 381,000 Tacoma pickup trucks because parts can fall off the rear axles, increasing a crash risk. The recall covers certain trucks from 2022 to 2023. Toyota said in a statement Tuesday that welding debris left on the ends of the axles can cause some nuts to loosen over time and eventually fall off. That will cause the part to separate from the axle, which can affect stability and braking performance.
In the comments, Nick McKay, in a Land Rover, we call that Tuesday.
Nice. Toyota wouldn't say if they have been any crashes or injuries yet. Dealers are going to inspect the rear axles and tighten retaining nuts at no cost to owners. So you go to the dealer and they'll tighten your nuts for you. Any damaged components will be repaired or replaced. Customers will be notified by mail in late April. So don't worry. You've got almost 2 months before Toyota is going to tell you if your axles might fall off.
Well, you can obviously look online. You can pull up your VIN number and see what's going on if your vehicle falls under that category. I think the mailing list is for those who are too old to know how the internet works.
Yeah, maybe. Our buddy Josh, he has a new enough Tacoma that falls in this category. So his is affected by this. But he said he's planning on regearing. And he said that if he regears, it will fix this issue. So he might not have to bring it to a dealer. So we'll see. He's the one who just got 37s.
Oh, wow.
So he needs to regear.
Yeah. Quickly.
Yeah. So you 2022 and 2023 Tacoma owners, be careful. Make sure you get your nuts tightened.
I'm curious what nuts it is. If it's like is it like steering link? Not steering linkage.
It's rear axle. It's rear. I think it's like where the leaf bolts down. There's some like welding stuff down there, and it's not letting it tighten down all the way.
So it's like U-bolts.
I'm assuming this was probably a lawsuit, and like they're just going to inspect all these vehicles and be like, nope, it's good. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, let's if you've been on the internet, social medias lately, you might have seen this picture here. This guy's kinetic strap snapped during recovery. If you're listening, it snapped during a recovery. He's in a newer Bronco, and it went through the windshield, and he cut his chin and neck up, and his face is a little bit bloody. Well, he's posted a video. It's the off-road recovery that almost killed me. It's a hour long. I went and watched portions of it.
It's an hour-long video of, you ever watch those videos where it's like the ex-mafia guy in a chair with like the room kind of darkened so you can't see his face? It's an hour long of that, essentially.
No, there's more to it than that, but he goes over every minute little detail. And long story short, his Amazon shackle broke, caused his kinetic strap to fly back and go through his window because he did not
Soft shackle, we should say. Amazon soft shackle.
Amazon soft shackle. He had been pulled once, and then he got pulled into his passenger side tire was buried, and they tried to pull again, and that's when it failed. His bumper was also failing too. So there's all sorts of things failing. And he talks about, hey, I should have stopped and looked after that first attempt, to kind of inspect and maybe dig out a little bit. I mean, at least he's acknowledging that. The China
Yeah.
shackle, I
I went into the comments and people were saying, "Hey, great job on the video. By the way, it could have been shorter." But multiple. I didn't watch the video. There's no way I'm going to sit down for an hour and watch
Yeah.
this guy talk when it should be like a minute and a half. But people said they didn't dig out the rig that they were trying to tug. They didn't do any shoveling, and they were going way too fast with their yanking rope.
yeah.
And
Were they what this stuff should be rated? It shouldn't matter.
oh well, no. So that was actually another thing was he was using a 1-inch rope instead of a 7/8 rope. So the rope, the rope did not have the stretch like it should have had because it was too strong of a rope for the
yeah,
weight
but
of the
that
trucks using
soft
it.
shackle should have like a 47,000-pound braking strength. Like you should
Well,
completely rip your bumper off that truck before.
it should if you bought one from like Factor 55 or
Yeah,
any of the reputable companies.
You're saying that all recovery gear is created equally when, in fact,
Well,
if it's from China,
yeah, but that's when people are like, "Hey, you didn't dig out and you went too fast." Like I've done both those things, but I know that like it's not gonna break because my stuff comes with a rating tag that
Yeah.
says it's not gonna break.
Where did
Yeah.
what is your brand, Koi?
I like hang on a second. Now I'm spacing. Master Pole.
That's it, Master Pull. For some reason, I want to call it
No.
Viking, but yeah, Master Pull.
I have a little bit of everything kind of, but I'm a big fan of Master Pole. I think they make
yeah.
better than average stuff. They're made in America and it's all tagged and stuff.
It was something I really gotta say was that was the big thing. They put the soft shackle through a hole intended for a hard shackle that was not rounded edges, and so it cut into the soft shackle. Something he did do right is they had medical supplies. They thought he hit his jugular, and they like called a life flight when it turned out it was his chin and part of his neck. They weren't trained, so they didn't really know what to be looking for. It's bright red blood if it's an artery, and it would have been, if it was a nick, it would have definitely been like pulsing out lots of blood.
I'm not trying to make fun of this guy. Like it
No,
sounds
I'm
but
trying to look at it as
I'm looking at the picture and he's holding like some towels or gauze up.
it's gauze.
Like, doesn't he like if I wasn't like if there wasn't just an insane like if your jugular is hit, you'll know. like
Yeah,
and 3 minutes later you'll be dead. So if in 10 minutes you're still alive, you didn't hit your like you know what I mean? Like how embarrassing must have been to get flown into to some hospital.
that's
He got flown out.
It sounds like he got flown out. I did
We're
not.
definitely going to put some
listen
stitches along your chin here, bro.
Oh.
But if you go through the video will be in the show notes, or you can look up the off-road recovery that almost killed me. He has drone footage of while they're doing this recovery. Just biggest learning thing I gathered from this is obviously know what recovery points you're using. Make sure you're using rated recovery points. Always check your gear. If the first recovery doesn't work out right, check your stuff first. Take your time. Don't rush your recovery. Slow down.
Yeah,
and have first aid supplies and people that know how to use it.
Him thinking he cut his jugular, but not. I know a guy like he's a lot older than I am, but he got a paintball gun back when they were kind of a new thing. Then on his way to school, he saw a guy and he shot him with it, and it happened to have red paintballs in it. And then he kept driving to high school, and the guy thought he got shot in a drive-by, and like, screamed for help at an ambulance because there was blood on his leg, and then like all emergency services were rallied, and then it was a paintball gun, and he knew the guy that shot him, like they knew each other. So he got in a lot of trouble for that.
I can imagine.
But imagine the amount of embarrassment, you know.
Well, so I'm just saying, like, initial frightenness, because like I had that can that explode, that butane can that exploded in that fire, and I got hit in the chest. My first thought was I got shot in the chest with something in the fire, and like I'm patting my chest, I'm checking myself. Once I knew I was good and clear, then I didn't panic anymore. And then
I
I was
hate to
worried.
be that. I hate to be that guy, but I have to one up both of your stories
You've been shot?
with the with the guy who heard the acorn hit his cop car
Oh my goodness.
and had to do 2 barrel rolls and unloaded his whole magazine into the back of his police cruiser. And he also claimed that he was shot. Nothing even touched the guy. Nothing touched him, and he was claimed he got shot. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I had a can blow up in a buzz at a bonfire one time, and it turned out to be a can of carb clean that had gotten thrown in there long before, and it sailed. It was a massive, just boom, stuff everywhere. But the can just flew out, and hit me right in the eyebrow. You could still see it if you look closely. I had this massive half, like the shape of bottom of a carb clean can, and there was stuff flying everywhere, and everybody was running and screaming because all the hot ashes. And I was like, did anybody else get hit? And they're like, what do you mean anybody else? I was like, I'm covered in blood. Like everybody else was like, no, everybody's fine. I'm like, no, everybody's not fine. Like I might have lost my eye here.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough story time. Let's get into actual story time. Let's hit this main topic, you guys. So, Coy, I feel like you might be the best one to do our audience members justice by telling the story of how one of our podcast listeners helped us out. So
just so you know, the story's gonna be a little vague because we did have to sign some non-disclosure agreements in order for this all to work out. So if you want more information than this, it's unlikely that we can tell you a lot more about this story. But unlike us, I hate country music. I don't know about you, Ben, Aaron, but it turns out that Toby Keith was actually a huge fan of the Off-Road Podcast.
Well, I love Red Solo Cups in America, so I'm just gonna say.
Well, I mean, good for you. I hate country music in general, but
I ain't
to
as
be
good
fair,
as I once was.
Yeah. I like to talk about me. So anyways, Toby Keith loved the podcast. We had no idea. He never wrote in or anything, but sadly, hopefully, spoiler alert, he died last month.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a lot of people didn't know that.
I don't know if everybody knows. And I'm not,
he did pass away.
With all respect, he's not with us anymore. He was a huge part of country music and loved by many. But the strange part about his death is he gave us a substantial, and again, we can't really say what we got, but he willed us a substantial amount of money. And the unusual thing is it came with a warning and conditions attached to this money. The condition is that we had to build bug out vehicles that could make a trip to Florida, preparing us for a zombie invasion. He said in this written note said, zombie apocalypse is coming. And we all kind of thought it was a joke, but we had to say we'd do it to get the cashola. So we all did a build out. And turns out he wasn't wrong. As we've been building these vehicles, we found some warning signs, and it started to happen just as we finished our rigs. It was time to get out of Oregon and Washington here and head to Florida to get behind the wall, separating us from the zombie horde. So with some planning ahead and the absolute crap load of money given to us by country legend Toby Keith, we're going to run you through these builds, and hopefully we make it to Florida in time. This is our last pod in the Northwest, so it'll be the Florida Man pod after this.
We're going to go join Andy and start the Florida Man podcast.
We're won't be able to tell the difference between the zombies and the Florida Man, but so I have to say right off the bat, as soon as I got this substantial amount of money, I flew my family to Disneyland in Florida, kind of just to hedge all my bets. And I am now, I can't say how rich, but I won't be working ever again. So I'm gonna run you guys through my build. Are you guys ready? I go first.
Yeah.
Let it rip, Coy. I can't wait.
So, as you guys know, I have a thing with fire. A little bit of a thing. Well, I think all of us do. It's fair. I went ahead and picked up a 2002 Oshkosh Mark 23 6x6. I don't know if you guys can pop up the picture of it there.
Yep.
So it's a Butte. Only has 17,000 miles. Has a nice cat diesel engine. I got it in the water truck variant with 4,000 gallon tank on it, and that comes with a sprayer system, front, rear, and one side.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we can really spray this out, which I filled with off-road diesel. So
so you don't have any drinking water, you just have a tanker.
First of all, I don't drink water. Fish poop in water. Okay, that's gross. And second of all, I don't really plan on stopping for fuel, but I also am going to be using. I mean, I come across a zombie horde. I literally circle my own wagon in a couple circles, spraying fuel, and then light it up. And then I just play the radio and let them run at my giant circle of fire, and I take out thousands of zombies. Now, it's a 6x6, but it's still it's a large truck. It's not going to go anywhere. And I do have to protect this vehicle. I got a long ways to go. So I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but a Henke hydraulic plow. So I went ahead and picked up this plow. It's a 3-way hydraulic plower. It could go into a V, forward V, sideways V, or angle it. Yeah, I threw some pictures up there. So
Nice.
if there's too many cars or whatever stuck in the road, I can part the C. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
I don't want to get out and have to like set up a winch line and do some double sideways pull and stuff. Yeah, so I'm not dealing with.
Well,
I'm
you
not
can
dealing with
put the
stuff
sea
that
of
way.
zombies too with that V.
Or yeah, like I mean, even if I didn't have the plow, I'm not stop in a 6x6 truck with that kind of weight. There is literally not enough zombies to stop me.
My only worry would be the amount of blood getting underneath the tires might make the road a little slick.
It's a
Or
6x6, man.
radiator.
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
And yeah, they proved that it worked in Mythbusters. That's essentially what I was going for. Like, it's not like I need this plow to last for many seasons. I need it to last to Florida. And then, I have my own firearms and things. I don't need to buy a lot more, but I did have to get one attachment for one of my rifles that I really felt like would help me get past some zombie hordes. And that is a pulse fire under barrel flamethrower. Yes, this goes on your rifle underneath. So you can be shooting your 5.56 rounds, headshotting left and right, double tapping, and then you also have fire that you can shoot out. And I have to light this diesel somehow at some point. So, and if the horde gets too big, honestly, I'm crawling on top of this truck. I'm popping the top hatch, and I'm going to point that thing down. Like we're gonna make a big boom. I think I'm going to put a large, maybe 50 pounds of like tannerite, in the tank, so that if I have to, I can set the whole tank off.
Yep.
Now,
from
guys,
a distance, or are you just gonna
no? If
go
I'm
up
setting the tank off, like I'm not going to be a zombie. I'm taking them with me. Actually, maybe I would. Here's my problem with zombie issues. Like that guy that gets bit by a zombie and then he tells his friend, "Hey man, you got to kill me." I'm always like, "Hey man, wouldn't you just lock me in like a dog kennel? And then if there's a cure, you know where I'm at. Come hit me with the cure later, bro." Like, but you need to lock me up. I think I would. So if I get bit, if I'm not going to get shredded, like if you can lock me in somewhere, I'm good with that. And come back for me later when we find the cure.
Good luck with that.
Now, just because there's a zombie apocalypse, guys. Yeah, there we go. Under barrel flamethrower. Just because there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm not. It's still a road trip, and I'm gonna enjoy it to my fullest. So I actually bought a case of Frito jalapeno cheddar cheese dip. Yeah, you know what it is. You know how I roll, guys.
Did you go to the restaurant supply store to get all this?
Yes, I did. Well, I mean, in the zombie apocalypse, I literally just go to the back of any gas station with a hand truck. But anyway, so I got me a case of that. When you're going through zombie hordes, you need a reason to live. And I know my family in Florida, getting to them, it's a decent reason to live, but it doesn't hurt, I should say, to just have some jalapeno cheddar cheese dip. My one true love in the seat next to me, knowing that once I get through the horde, I can enjoy this.
Seat next to you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I have to seat belted in for safety.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cab space there.
There's not a ton. I also got a case of Pringles cheese dip. Or sorry, Pringles chips, because I have to have a carrier to get the cheese dip into my mouth. And it's even in the zombie apocalypse, people treat you weird if you eat cheese dip with a spoon. So I have to use chips, sadly. And because water is gross, I got a case of Dr. Pepper. I'm going to be drinking all that Dr. Pepper. I went ahead and got a big case of cheese puffs, bro. Cheese balls.
The Costco cheese balls.
The Costco that come in the giant tin. I got a massive amount of these. I can use it to mark. It's like a breadcrumb. It's like a cheese. If we ever get separated, every time I throw a cheese buff in my mouth, I'm throwing a handful out the window. You guys can track me down.
You think you're going to be leading?
I kind of do, honestly.
You don't know how fast of a vehicle that Ben and I have yet.
I don't, but it's an endurance race. Maybe I won't lead the whole time, but for part of it.
All right.
And
I'm going to have to follow him for fuel. That's all.
I got a case of Red Bull because I'm known to drive 15 hours straight without stopping, but I'm just one man and I got to go to Florida. So, and I know somebody said something about a keg. I'm in Oregon, bro, and it's a zombie apocalypse and I got thousands of miles to drive. So I'm getting some Crystal Light, if you get what I'm saying.
What did those truck drivers use back in the day?
Trucker speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the trick now is to get it without the fentanyl. And then the final thing, guys, I got a box of Tachyon Harvest Moon Pumpkin Spice cigars because I may die. I'm not real worried about lung health in this trip. And I like pumpkin spice and I enjoy a cigar once in a while. And when I am doing the Ring of Fire or I'm just dumping diesel everywhere and planning to light it on fire, yeah, I'm going A-Team style. I'm going to snap a half-burned cigar out the window. Slow motion. I haven't done it enough to get the slow motion snap down, but I'm going to. Road flares are cool, but they're not as cool as a cigar. And I'm going to set all that diesel off with that. And I'm going to enjoy cigars. This is really what I've come up with all my millions. Sorry, I can't say how much. With all of my dollars that I've inherited. This is kind of where I'm at, guys. That
sounds like Hannibal Smith from the A-Team. He was always smoking a cigar, and I'm pretty sure several times he ignited gasoline with it. So
exactly what my plan is. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to use the flamethrower. And I'm going to use the flamethrower to light my cigar at least once. So
that sounds pretty good. That should be enough diesel to get you across the country.
If I have to use it for whatever pyrotechnic zombie situation I get into, I'll just stop at the nearest fuel station. I'll pop the
refinery
on the caps and I'll just pump whatever's in their tank back into mine.
Yeah.
Since this is a military vehicle, I can run gas and diesel and just whatever they have, I'm putting in there. So
JP8. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
All right. Well, I've got to say, what's shown is what I am allowed to show before the ATF shows up. In the occurrence, they decide to show up before we've left, because I went with this 2015 GMC RV crawler hauler.
Dude.
Yes.
I dig it.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, but Ben, you're going to be riding on the top of my tank by the time we hit Idaho.
No.
Why do you say that?
You don't think that top kick's going to make it?
It's a top kick, bro. Look at this thing. It looks broke down in the picture.
I have room for the good old reliable 4Runner in the back. I say 4Runner because I've taken somebody else's.
I was gonna say you're not talking about your 4Runner, right?
No, not mine. Not mine.
He picked one up at a dealership on the way out.
Yep,
He's like, "Don't worry, I'll make all the payments."
Yep. No, it would probably be a well, probably is a brand new Toyota Tacoma. I figured I'd go for that 5th gen, try that TODR off road.
Fourth gen, I think, is what they are.
Is that 4th gen? Yeah, it is 4th gen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got room for the back of it, when it breaks down. But while we have it, I also have something because I figured it'd be fun to use some improvised explosives to drop and help clear the path with this little guy right here.
Yes.
So I'm going to do some overlanding, truly over the land. I'm going to parasail around, fly away home style, and be dropping pressure cookers loaded up with nuts and bolts and shotgun shells.
Ben, I have to commend you on the creativity. That's genius.
Because I mean,
wait a second, let me finish. You broke your tailbone on a moped, and you're going to parasail now.
I'm going full sail. I mean, if I go, I'm going to go good. If like for some reason there is no hope for me, I've got some improvised explosives, and it's going to be a powder keg hitting the ground. It's going to be my dead body flopping down and just going kaboom.
Make sure you leave the keys with your wife before you take off, so she doesn't have to go find them in your pocket in a field.
Yeah.
Ben's on a FRS radio. I hit a jet stream. We just see him booking backwards, trying to get back.
I'm just saying, I will be able to
in Kentucky.
I will be able to scout ahead for you boys while you guys are down on the ground. I'm going to be able to, scout around. I'm going to find the hordes of zombies, maybe drop some Molotov cocktails from below to distract them and get them out of our way.
When you say scout ahead, you these do like 13 miles an hour, right?
Oh yeah, I know. They're slow as all can be.
Like, I get it. I'm in Oshkosh. It probably does 45 top. Still.
But, you never know when rough terrain or...
That top kick is probably faster than your Oshkosh. So right now, Ben has the fastest vehicle.
Yeah.
I'll say, I bet
I'm going to get him in the long run because he's clearly stopping to sleep. He has a camper on there.
Like, he's got his whole family's in that camper.
Yeah. The wife can drive too. It's an automatic. It'll work.
I bet you could land that powered parachute trike on the roof of your camper as it's driving down the road.
Yeah, as long as she's going.
You could time. She's going the right speed, and you time it. You just set down right on top. Your kids could be standing on top, and they just grab the tires as you're going.
I also bet that he could sunroof. Because that sounds like something I'd like to watch him try and do, not because I think he can.
Yeah. I just figure, all the cool overlanders are doing like parasailing and stuff. This seems like just one way to. Okay. Yeah. That's what I've seen online. Some of the cool overland guys are doing that. So I'm like, you got to one up them. You got to be ready for the zombie apocalypse with it, So, Aaron, I'm curious what you got.
Oh, I didn't realize you were done already. Let me upload my pictures.
Was not that super cool. Like I said, 4 pictures, a really good plan, and lots of stuff that I don't want the alphabet soup guys showing up.
All right, my pictures are uploading right now.
Oh,
I'm stoked.
Hang on one second. I'm almost done.
So Coy, you don't think my lack of suspension here would protect my tailbone?
No, I'm just saying you wrecked a moped and injured you sat on a donut for 2 months. In the apocalypse, I don't think you should be taking big risks.
My life is all about
because you're going to find the only energized power lines with that thing for sure. Like we're gonna be like, oh, there's so much.
All right, so here's what I did. I bought something a little international, and I'm not talking about an international truck. I bought something that was actually captured in a war in Iraq from the Russians. So I bought myself a BTR 60. So it is a it's an 8x8 made in Russia. It's amphibious, you guys. I can go in water.
So you're trusting the communists to get you home?
These things have been around since the 60s, and they're still cranking away. They've made hundreds of thousands of them. They're all over the world.
This is a step up from your Craigslist mechanic rebuilt motor.
I love this thing, but are these what got stuck on the way to Ukraine and like, you know?
Those were muddy fields, you guys. Come on.
All right,
we're driving on roads. We're driving on roads.
All right. Apparently, I'm going to need to pick up a Kubota on the way, or John Deere on the way to Florida to recover Aaron.
So, yeah, these things. This only cost me $36,000, you guys, plus $12,000 shipping. But
where'd they
I dropped
ship it
from? This one came out of the UK. So I dropped
$12,000 to ship this from the UK.
I know some people. I have some Russian friends.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a legit quote. I was like, what?
Yeah. So yeah, I dropped a link in the comments if anybody wants to go to the website and check it out. I bought it from a website called Tanks a Lot, which I think is just amazing. They sell all kinds of military vehicles. Tanks a Lot. .co.uk if you want to look it up yourself. So this has a crew of 2 people plus 14. So I can get 16 people on this, or my family of 4 plus a dog and some bunk beds and a bunch of food. It weighs 21,000 pounds, which is actually a lot lighter than I thought it would weigh, because my LMTV was 18,000 pounds. So this is only 1.5 tons heavier than my LMTV, and it's got 2 more axles and armor, and I don't know why that LMTV weighed so much. 19 inches of ground clearance, Coy.
That's impressive.
That is.
That's pretty good. It only uses 24 gallons of fuel for every 100 miles you drive.
That's just like 4 miles a gallon. So
well,
that's better than I would think just right off. Like, that's actually not terrible considering.
So Mark points out that it's got that really nice tow bar.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you couldn't hook it up to Coy's rig there. And
it's got a winch on the front, recovery points. Here's the bad news. It only has a 77-gallon fuel tank. So 24 goes into 77 only 3 times. So I can only go 300 miles before I need to put fuel in it again. All other bad news, it runs on gasoline, so I can't use any of Coy's diesel.
Oh, I was gonna say we could do a cool thing where we we fuel up as we're driving.
Here's some inside pictures of how you can line out all the people. You can put them on troop seats down the side, or you can have some bench seats going on.
Yeah, so guy number 4 there at the last fuel stop, you don't know it, but he got bit by a zombie. And I've seen this part of the movie before. It goes really south.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I'm not taking those guys with me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take anybody.
See how they're red? That means they're communists. They're not coming in with me. Yeah, I'm super excited to take it. It can withstand small arms fire. Like everywhere on it can handle 9mm size rounds, and most of the rest of the place can handle 7.62 by 3.9 and 7.62 by 5.1 type ammo. So it's made to withstand typical small arms fire.
Well, I'm glad you brought something that had room for Ben and his family.
Raggle Fraggle says it's an odd choice for a military vehicle. I went down the amphibious vehicle rabbit trail. I was searching hard for anything that could be amphibious because I figured, listen, I get to the Gulf of Texas and then I just go out in the ocean and I take the ocean all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. I guess it's not the ocean. It's the Gulf of
Under
Mexico. all the way to
300
Florida.
miles. Like, how far do you
Well,
go?
Yeah, so then I started looking into it. And I'm like, well, that's actually a long ways to float, and they go really slow. This one
I'm
specifically.
going to say, if you take it out there, take Ben's parasail, you can rig that up, and you don't even use the fuel. Just let it pull you in. Take you right to Cuba.
This will only go 6 miles. This will only go 6 miles an hour on the water, and I am going to be the slowest vehicle in the convoy here. It only goes 50 miles an hour on land, and let me tell you why. Raggle Fraggle's kind of hinting at it in the comments. They couldn't figure out what engine to put in these the crazy Russians. The V6 engine only had 90 horsepower. The V8 engine was too big and didn't fit in it. So somehow they put two V6 90 horsepower engines in it. I don't know why two V6s fit and one V8 doesn't. So I've got 180 horsepower, Coy. Not very much. I don't know how 180 horsepower moves a vehicle that weighs 11 tons. So, and because it was a Russian pair of V6s, I definitely didn't want to supercharge it or turbocharge it. I'm really worried about the life of the engine. So, yeah, no LS swap for me.
Here's what I'm saying, and it's not that I think your choice is bad, but I think we got to save it for when we need it. You know what I mean? So that tow bar, we hook it back to the back of my water truck because I've got a Cat C12 engine with it had 410 horsepower in the ad that I bought from Ritchie Brothers. And, you
can soup those up.
Yeah.
Easily.
And I crushed the blow-off valve like any good red-blooded racer.
Yes.
And I don't know, I didn't dyno it, but I got to assume I'm pushing 650. I just tow that. Like, it's only 20,000 pounds. Like, I'm in a semi. Who cares?
Yeah.
20,000? No big deal.
That's not a terrible idea.
And you guys enjoy. And then when we need to, maybe we'll get to a bridge and we got to
we can switch off driving.
Abandon the water truck. No, all my food's in the water. I'm not stopping. Like I told you, I'm in there with my Red Bull, my cheese dip, and my Crystal Light.
All right. So I'll just be inside of mine on the PlayStation, just playing some Mud Runner Expeditions as we're going along, driving through Mississippi.
Would you play Mud Runner or would you play like Left for Dead or something like that?
I guess there's some other
practice some zombie stuff.
Yeah. So I like I mentioned earlier, with only 4 people, there's room in the interior to build it out. So I built some primitive bunk beds. I don't need this thing to be an overland or amazing rig. I just got to get to Florida, some place for my kids to sleep, cheap bunk beds, basic camp cooking. Someone mentioned putting a wood stove in it. That's actually a great idea. If it would have been cold, maybe that would be an option. My food, a little bit of fresh food, but it was mostly MREs and freeze-dried meals. But here's where we go. The kicker, I got some of this extra cash because I saved so much money on my shipping because I knew a guy that I got kind of like one of those gun racks that the military uses, like the gun lockers, and I kind of loaded it up with some pretty sweet AR-15s chambered in 300 blackout with suppressors, so nobody's going to hear those bullets whistling through the air. It's going to the zombies won't know what hit them. They won't know where to look. I still had some extra money. We got a lot of money.
I think technically zombies never know what hit them. That's kind of their whole
probably yeah. I got some nods. I bought some thermal scopes for some of the AR-15s, and then I also bought one.
Wait. Do zombies have a heat signature?
I don't. We're gonna find out.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and then I also bought one crossbow because Daryl looks pretty sweet when he's shooting people in the head in the Walking Dead TV show. So I want to know is it really that cool to use a crossbow? I've never used a crossbow, so I'm gonna
Do you
find
think
out.
you should have a crossbow around where Ben could play with it? I feel like he's going to shoot himself in the foot, or he's going to pick it up. It's going to go off and explode a tire, and we'll find out Ben doesn't have any spares. I don't know.
Aaron's got a few.
I don't know if the crossbow's the best idea for Ben.
Mark says that the fresh ones have a heat signature, so at least we know that. All right, so here's the last part of my plan. So literally, I can only go 300 miles before refueling on gasoline. I stopped at the local rental store, and I picked up one of these Sunbelt trailers. Just a big poly tank, holds 500 gallons. I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to put water in them, but gas probably won't eat it out by the time I get to Florida. So we're going to take our chances. I open it up, dry it all out, get all the water out, and I fill that thing with 500 gallons of unleaded. The cheap stuff, because that Russian thing, it doesn't matter if you put premium in it. So I just get the cheap stuff. I sign the contract, but I'm not bringing this thing back. It's going across country with me. The rental store doesn't know that yet. And I don't want people who aren't zombies to come chase me down because they see I'm hauling 500 gallons of gasoline around. So I just kind of get some plywood and put some boxes, make it like a box over top of it, so it looks like some cheap homemade trailer, and so it disguises it. And while I'm at it, picking that stuff up at Home Depot, I get some PVC parts, and I plumb in a little, kind of like what you did with your truck, Coy. I've got this spraying system that I can dispense some fuel out of the trailer in a off the sides, out the back, as needed. Just a little, little fire, little whatever. And I bought on eBay one of those exhaust flamethrower kits to ignite all that. It uses a spark plug and ignition coil. So you just press the button, it ignites the gas. Kind of a fun thing.
I mean, you could pick up smoking, because Koi, and just like toss the cigar out the window.
Yeah. I can get some Roman candles too if that doesn't work. But
I mean, he can.
I thought I'd get one of those.
A road flare.
No, I should stock up on Roman candles. That would be pretty good to put on my little pretend.
Well, I figure somewhere Idaho, Utah, like we're gonna go past a fireworks stand, and I will be stopping. Like that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. That is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I'm assuming there'll be zombies in the building. I'm gonna run in there. I'm not even gonna shoot them. I'm just gonna run around in circles. I'm gonna get my fireworks, and then I'm gonna run out with my fireworks. I'm gonna shoot the fireworks building. It's gonna be as awesome as you think it will be.
Can you just imagine this slow little parasail flying over you, and then like stuff falling out of it, and then just fireworks exploding, sparkler bombs exploding?
Ben, what I am going to do for you and your paratrike, I will stop drinking Red Bull long enough to stop somewhere and get you a full-on Red Baron outfit with the goggles and the hat. And look, it's the apocalypse, I know, but you got to keep it light and fun. You're going to only wear the Red Baron outfit when flying that. It's a rule Aaron will make.
That's a fun idea. So that 500 gallons of fuel is going to get me more than halfway across the country. I will only need one fuel stop if I have 500 gallons of gas when I start. So I feel like I'm going to do okay with that.
And if we do, if I do a tow setup with you, we might get into no fuel stops. Like, we'll do the math.
And you'll be pulling two trailers. I don't know if you have your doubles endorsement or not, but it won't matter.
I'm not stopping at
I'm not stopping at the scales.
I may stop at a scale just to see if a Waymaster has turned into a zombie, so that I can take out all my suppressed rage against the scale Waymaster.
I like that idea.
So something like that, Coy.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a little more flamboyant, more red, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. That's my build. I brought an APC, you guys. Mine's armored. I'm super excited about that.
So originally I had been looking at fire trucks because I was like, oh, I'll take a fire truck and I'll fill it full of water. And Coy told me he had plenty of fuel. So I would use the water cannon to blow the zombies apart because, rotting flesh. And then if that wasn't enough, just replace the water in the water cannon with diesel and make it a diesel cannon. And then, maybe add some styrofoam to the mix. And, I've got some Greek fire going on there.
Yeah, I like it.
I
hope we make it
with like bleach. Not, just, it's a cleaner way to. And then you can do burnouts in your fire truck real easy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You guys, I would love to hear what our listeners' apocalyptic vehicles for getting to Florida would be. So please call us 605 spotter. Let us know. We'll play your stuff on the air. I want to know, how would you build it? What would you drive? What would you take? I think you got 3 minutes worth of voicemail to tell your story. And if you got to call back, call back. If it's that big of a deal, I want to hear it.
And go ahead and answer this question. Do you think Aaron actually only brought the crossbow to shoot Ben in the leg so that he could outrun the zombies when they attacked Ben? Because I feel like crossbow doesn't fit in, guys. Aaron's got ulterior motives.
You don't think I can outrun Ben without shooting in the leg? He's got pneumonia.
Yeah, what I've between pneumonia and like whatever lung problems I keep getting over, it's either pneumonia, I'll have bronchitis. I'll be like, I got bronchitis. I ain't got time for that. Just let them die.
The crossbow's odd. I don't trust people with a crossbow. They're up to no good.
Yeah. I should have just got a dirt bike and like avoided you guys and only stole fuel at the
broke your tailboat again.
Yes.
You just get a big padded seat for the dirt bike.
Yes. I need a side-by-side, apparently. Well, next week, I'm not here, but Aaron and Josh are doing a live Moab planning trip with Coy, because I said Josh. And so, yes, Josh from Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So listener Josh is coming on the show. He's taking my spot, and Aaron and Coy and him are going to plan Moab. So
yeah, it's going to be a good time. Make sure you guys tune in, help with suggestions, maybe some meal planning, although it sounds like Coy's got all the food figured out. Cheesy poos, cheese dip, Pringles.
Yeah. You guys figure out what medicine to bring to make it so that you can live through the food I'm bringing. Okay. That's what you need to worry about.
I'm going to bring lots of toilet paper and lots of Tums.
Tums, Nexium, Prilosec, yeah.
Pepto.
Need a gallon of Pepto to live with Coy. His poor
All right,
wife.
guys. This is a fun show. We love doing these hypothetical ones. They're a lot of fun for us to plan and joke about. We didn't really get a bunch of money from Toby Keith. That wasn't true, unfortunately, but it is true that he passed away. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in weekly. If you haven't checked out this live show, it's a whole lot of fun. Tune in Mondays, 7 p.m. Pacific. YouTube is the place where almost all the action happens. So check us out there. Appreciate you guys. Share it with your friends. Help us grow. And God bless America.
And let's not forget about that red Solo Cup.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
You guys really didn't buy yours? I have 166 cans of Red Bull and an Oshkosh now. What am I supposed to do?
You better hope that it really happens so you don't have to pay it off.
Yeah. You start running to Florida now, Coy.